What's going on, Fight and Field Insights family? Welcome back to this week's episode of Punters Playbook, where I try and make you guys, the viewers at home, some money, alright? And if you're anything like me, and you took the tips and tricks that I provide on a Wednesday, and you take that, you take the knowledge from the battle, you take the knowledge from my battlefield to your battlefield, you're going to make some money. And if you watched last week's episode, you got paid. So that's what I'm trying to say. Longest possible story, cut it short as possible. You watched last week's episode, you got paid. So we got up on the Cowboys game. That multi came through, right? And then I did a little bit of my own and my own sort of freelance punting work on the Sunday, the Roosters Canberra game, all right, and I made a little bit of money there, all right. And although them tips weren't in Punters Playbook for the multi that I won, all right, you just got to use the same sort of theory, right? You got to use my sort of my algorithm, if you will, for punting on footy. But yeah, it's round 14. We're back to a full-size, normal rugby league round. This isn't buy-round footy anymore. This is real tough and tip and tap, and rough and gut, and kicking shit footy. All right. Yeah, Tippers Playbook, guys. Newcastle Knights versus Manly Sea Eagles. Look, I think Manly are going to win this one. These are the games Manly lose. They lose to the Newcastle Knights majority of the time. But I got a bit of a feeling that rugby league omens sort of end when it comes to the Newcastle Knights this season, because they actually just suck. All right? Keep thinking there's something on my thumb. I don't think there is, but you guys let me know if there is. Anyway. Yeah, I think rugby league omens end when it comes to the Newcastle Knights, because they've been so poo this season. So, give me Manly. Not Manly 13 plus. I'm going to go Manly 1 to 12. I think they just scraped by. Melbourne Storm versus the Cowboys. I'm going to take the Storm here. It's at Amy Park. It's hard for the Storm to lose at home. I'm going to go Storm here. Even though, the Cows, they won the game against the Tigers last week. It was a bit of rock and sock'em, sort of back and forth grudge match, that game. I don't think the Cows are going to make me any money this weekend, guys. Give me Melbourne. On to the Dolphins versus the Dragons. All right. I've got the Dragons here. I've got the Dragons here, and yeah, it's difficult. You have to be a pretty elite team, to go to Suncorp. I believe they're playing at Suncorp, or they're playing at KO Stadium or whatever. You got to be pretty elite to go to Brisbane and beat the Redcliffe Dolphins. Beat the Dolphins. Which I think, obviously the Dragons aren't. But I think they can string it together. I think they can string it together and they can get an nitty-gritty win. So, go on the Dragons. Cronulla Sharks versus the Warriors. This has got the makings for a good game. I could honestly see the Sharks winning this one, guys. I can honestly see the Sharks winning this one, all right? The Sharks win these kind of games. They win these kind of games where you don't expect, it's going to be a tight grudge match, Oh, yeah, the Warriors are going to hold them out, and the Sharks, the Sharks are really going to struggle here. It's one of them ones. The Warriors just lost Marner Mitch. Pray for a speedy recovery and all, but I'm going to take the Sharks here. I'm going to bet against the Warriors. It might come back to get me, but I'm going to take the Sharks here. Broncos Titans. Broncos need a win. They need to make a comeback. They need to start putting points in. I think it's not too late for them. But if they continue on this path, it probably will be. But they need this win, especially against the Titans at home. They need this win. In saying that, I think the Titans are going to win. Give me the Titans. Raiders versus Souths. I think the Rabbitohs are going to win this, guys. All right, call me a fool. Call me a fool now. But the Raiders, okay. The Raiders aren't 2022, 2023 Penrith Panthers, okay? They're not. All right? They had a full strength side and they lost to Manly at the start of the year. So on and so forth. They've had some pretty scathing losses this season, guys. Don't forget that. Canberra have lost some pretty scathing games. And the Souths are only going to have the morale back after a decent performance against Warriors last week, where we almost won. All right, 30-36. Okay. We've got the troops back. Few of them. Munro on the bench. Cody Walker back at 6. Jack Whiten back in the centres. Whoa, earthquake. But, yeah. The troops are back for Souths, right? Got a little bit of craftiness in the halves with Cody Walker setting up some plays. You know, triple, quadruple, quintuple pumps, you know. A little chip off the boot. Trell follows through, or, you know, any of them. Down that left edge. It's going to be good, guys. It's going to be good is what I'm trying to say. South Sydney Rabbitohs, they're going to get this one done. Penrith versus the Tigers. Penrith, they don't have much substance to them this season, all right? They don't have that nitty-gritty, bite down on the mouthpiece, walk forward style like they used to. All right, the Tigers, on the other hand, I see that in the Tigers. I see a lot of heart in the Tigers. Not wanting to say die. They want to win games. They're not winning games, but they want to win games. Whereas the Penrith Panthers, they're winning here and there, but I don't think they want to win. So I'm going to take the Tigers here, guys. I honestly think Jerome Luai and his new club are going to beat Cleary and the old gang. So I got the Tigers winning that one. And then Canterbury Bulldogs versus Parramatta Eels. I got the Bulldogs, guys. It's short and sweet. I got the Bulldogs. All right, yeah. Parramatta Eels, they can upset people. They might get, might get their licks in early, but the Bulldogs have been a hard team to beat this year. If it's not suffocating defense, it's big comebacks. Oh. So, yeah, I'm going to go the Bulldogs. That's all my tips, guys. That's all I'm picking. Manly, Storm, Dragons, Sharks, Titans, Bunnies, Tigers, Bulldogs. Boom. Lock them in. Put them in your tipping comp and become number one. I'm number one. I could show you if I wanted to. But I don't want to. Into the Punters Playbook, I guess, then. Into the real stuff. Into talking stats. Bear with me for a second here, guys. Oh, bear with me again. Okay, here we are. Okay. Knights versus Manly. The first game of the round. The underdog has won each of Manly's last 6 matches. All right, let me get back in frame. I'm kind of hiding out here. The underdog has won each of Manly's last 6 matches, so that's pointing towards Newcastle maybe beating them, but I wouldn't look at stats too heavily there. Like that's a stat built off 6 other teams. Not this Newcastle side, so. Each of Newcastle's last 10 matches have gone under the total match points line. Hamola Olakotawatu has scored a try in 4 of Manly's last 5 matches against Newcastle. Kalen Ponga has scored a try in 3 of his 4 previous appearances with Newcastle as an underdog against Manly. And then in each of Manly's last 3 matches, its starting left wing has scored at least 1 try. Oh, and James Schiller has scored at least 1 try in 4 of his last 5 appearances at McDonald Jones Stadium. All right, so I've gone pretty simple. I was debating putting Olakotawatu in there. Yeah, he scored a double last week, and he does score tries, but he's been a little bit inconsistent, so I've actually just gone for Manly, unders, KP, and Tommy Talau anytime. Now, that being said, Kalen Ponga has not scored a try this season, I don't think. He hasn't looked at scoring a try. All right, his attack just seems very flat, very poo. His defense is good, so that's a bit of a Hail Mary shot putting Kalen Ponga as a try scorer. But I've got faith that he wants to improve. I've got faith that he wants to show Queensland that he wants that fallback jersey, even though there's no other Queenslander who's going to take it, like Reece Walsh with. So, Kalen Ponga, I got Kalen Ponga to score anytime. Storm versus the Cows. I got a few stats here, guys. Melbourne have won each of their last 8 matches at Amy Park. 7 of Melbourne's last 8 matches at Amy Park have gone over the total match points line. The Cowboys have won either half in 15 of the last 16 matches against opponents ranked higher on the ladder. In 9 of the North Queensland Cowboys' 10 away matches, its starting right centre has scored at least 1 try. And I believe that's Labert. Zach Labert? Anyway. Where am I at here? Jackson Purdue has scored a try in each of Cowboys' last 4 away matches. In 5 of the Cowboys' last 6 matches, its starting right second row has scored at least 1 try. So that's Jeremiah Nanai. And then Elise Katoa has scored a try in 4 of Melbourne's last 5 matches at Amy Park. This is where it gets a little bit juicy. Nelson Fussell. Oh my God. Big Nelson. Big Nas. I just tried to say his name. And I just couldn't do it. I didn't want to butcher it, guys. Has scored a try in each of Melbourne's last 3 home matches against the Cowboys. So, last 3 home matches against the Cowboys. That's a lot. That's a lot for Big Nelson. And then Harry Grant has scored at least 1 try in in 6 of his last 8 home appearances. So I've just jumped on Nas anytime, Nelson anytime, Harry Grant anytime, and Melbourne. Harry Grant, Nelson, Melbourne. That's me. On to the Dragons versus Dolphins game. The Dolphins won each of their last 3 matches after a bye. Each of the last 3 matches between the Dolphins and the Dragons have gone under the total match points line. Herbie Farnworth has scored a try in each of the Dolphins' last 6 matches. Tuapoloto has scored 1 try or more in 6 of his last 7 appearances. Jack Averillo has scored a try in 4 of his last 5 appearances against the Dragons. Jermaine Isako has scored at least 1 try in 4 of his last 5 appearances against the Dragons. Cody Nikorima has scored a try, has scored in each of the Dolphins' last 3 matches as favourites. And then Clint Gutherson has scored at least 1 try in each of the Dragons' last 3 matches. So I've gone ahead and I've pumped in Dragons 1-12, Guffo, and Tuapoloto anytime. Nice and simple one, guys, but you know, if you're picking the Dragons to win, you could probably look at a Guffo, you could probably look at a Tuapoloto. And you could probably look at a 1-12. On to the Sharks vs. Wars. Cronulla has won each of their last 9 night matches at Shark Stadium after losing as a favourite. 5 of Cronulla's last 6 home matches have gone under the total match points line. T. Wilson has scored a try in each of Cronulla's last 3 home matches against the Warriors. In 15 of Cronulla's last 19 matches at Shark Park, its starting left wing has scored at least 1 try. Not too sure who that is. Hiroti? Might be Hiroti. Did I say wing or centre? Left wing? Katoa? Don't know. Charles Nicolau Clockstead has scored a try in each of his last 2 appearances against Cronulla. Luke Metcalf has scored at least 1 try in each of New Zealand's last 6 matches as underdogs. And Kale Ero has scored at least 1 try in each of his last 8 appearances. That guy just doesn't stop scoring tries. Well, I've gone nice and simple. I've gone Katoa. First try scorer. Will it happen? Don't know. First try scorer is hard to pick. I picked one on Sunday, though, so sit on it and spin. Broncos versus Titans. The underdogs have won. The underdog has won each of Brisbane's last 7 matches. So, 5 of Brisbane's last 6 matches as a favourite have gone under the total match points line. In Brisbane's last 5 matches, the opposition's starting right centre has scored a try, Brian Kelly. Ezra Mam has scored a try in each of Brisbane's last 3 home matches against Gold Coast, and Philip Sammy has scored a try in 3 of Gold Coast's last 4 matches. Multi, Mam, Kelly, Titans, unders. Boom! Canberra vs Rabbits. South Sydney has lost each of its last 11 matches against opponents that were in the top 4. Each of South Sydney's last 9 away matches have gone under the total match points line. Canberra have scored 31 or more points in each of their last 3 matches against the Rabbitohs. Latrell Mitchell has scored a try in 4 of his 5 previous appearances against Canberra. And each of Canberra's last 3 home matches, the opposition's starting left prop has scored a try. It's Jai Arrow. Hudson Young has scored a try in each of his last 3 appearances, and Zach Hosking has scored a try in each of Canberra's last 3 home matches. I got Jai Arrow, I got Jack Whiten, and I got Souths to win. You didn't see Jack Whiten in there, but I reckon he's coming back with a try. Get a little bit dry. I need some water reading all this, guys. Tigers versus Penrith. And we can probably scroll down here, so this is in eye shot. Penrith have won 8 of their last 9 matches against the West Tigers in Sydney. Each of the last 10 matches between the West Tigers and the Penrith Panthers have gone under the total match points line. In each of the West Tigers' last 6 matches at CommBank Stadium, the opposition's starting right wing has scored at least 1 try. In each of Penrith's last 5 In each of Penrith's last 5 matches at CommBank Stadium, the opposition's starting left wing has scored at least 1 try. Don't know who that is. Skelton, maybe? In each of Penrith's last 5 matches at CommBank Stadium, the opposition's starting right centre has scored a try. It's Adam Dewey. And Brian Tyler has scored at least 1 try in each of his last 3 appearances at CommBank Stadium. And then my multi, nice and simple, Tigers Dewey anytime, Brian Tyler anytime. Last game of the round, Parramatta has lost each of their last 5 matches against opponents that were ranked in the top 4. Each of Parramatta's last 5 matches have gone under the total match points line. Stephen Crichton has scored at least 1 try in each of his 2 previous appearances against Parramatta at Accor Stadium. Josh Curran has scored a try in 3 of his last 4 home appearances. Marcelo Montoya has scored at least 1 try in 3 of his last 4 appearances against Parra. Will Penasini has scored a try in 6 of Parramatta's last 7 matches against Canterbury. And Josh Adokar has scored at least 1 try in each of his last 5 appearances against Canterbury. Multi, Josh Curran, first try scorer. We did it a couple of weeks ago. Didn't come through. Doing it again. Sit on it. That's it. That's all my multis and stats. I was probably reading a little bit quick there, guys, but I don't like reading. No one likes reading. I need to get someone on here when I'm doing Punters Playbook to read the multis, to read the stats and the multis. So, if that's a job you want, right, it's unpaid, it's love work. You got to do it because you're a true member, like a true fan. If you want to come on here, if you just want to sit in the background when no one can see you and you just want to read stats out, and I do witty commentary, I sort of zig and zag. Come on, the Warriors. I do that while you read stats. I do all the witty commentary while you read out stats and multis, alright? And I boast in the background that I came up with it all, alright? Not the stats, because, stats just exist, don't they? Stats just exist, you just put them together. You just put 2 and 2 together. But yeah, that's all my multis. All we've got left to do, guys, is look at the board, talk about the board. I just really quickly want to say we don't have a Cheeky Pony this week. And I doubt there is, but if there is a Cheeky Pony fan base, people out there who like Cheeky Ponies, I don't know if we're going to continue it, guys. I don't know if we're going to continue it. I've been trying my hardest to keep the Cheeky Lil Pony trend alive, even to the point where last week or the week before, I said I was going to nail down, right? I was going to lock in. I was going to focus on the Cheeky Little Pony, and I was going to make it something of beauty, right? We were going to punt on Cheeky Little Ponies because, it's Punters Playbook at the end of the day, and, punting, horses. Simple, really. But I can't find time for the Cheeky Little Ponies, guys. I cannot find time for the Cheeky Little Ponies. My weekends are a little bit busy. By the time a Cheeky Little Pony rolls around, I miss it. I don't even get to put it on. And I forget I don't even remember what the horse's name is, right? Out of 90% of the Cheeky Little Ponies, this year, I've not punted on. Only 10%, which was one horse. One horse. It was the only horse I ever punted on, right? So, yeah, rough stuff. And then, it sort of killed it with Damo getting scratched there the other week. So, Cheeky Lil Pony, guys, for the time being. I know it's up there on the board in the corner there. But Cheeky Lil Pony for the time being is probably getting retired until I can find a true passion for the Cheeky Lil Pony. But all that aside, we'll get on the board, or else we'll be here forever. Cash cows, locks, long shots. There's not much doing in locks and cash cows this week. A lot in the long shot box. Dragons, Wars, Rabbits, cash cows. Dragons $2.45, Wars $2.55, and the Rabbits $2.95, alright? The Rabbits holding them by the skin of their teeth in the cash cows box. Could have made their way over the long shots, but I thought it might have just been a little bit too light. So yeah, great value with them three, alright? And other than the Wars, I'm picking all three of them to win. So, locks, Manly, Storm, Doggies, $1.40 for Manly, $1.20 for Storm, and $1.40 for the Doggies. Alright, a couple familiar faces in there. Manly making a first time appearance. Congratulations, Manly. And then the long shots, this is where it gets a little interesting, okay? Knights, $2.95. They're so poo that you got to put them in there. No matter if they're paying $1.20. You got to put them in there. The Cows, $4.60. Even though I think, Melbourne are probably going to win, I'm actually still going to bet. I'm going to put a bet on the Cows at $4.60. You'd be mad not to. Titans, $3.20. The Tigers, $3.35. And the Parramatta Eels, $2.95. And look, I could have put the Parramatta Eels in cash cows if we're looking at the same logic. The Rabbitohs, $2.95. Parra, $2.95. But I think it's just a little bit of a harder win. Like, I think the Rabbits have a better chance at beating a team like Canberra Raiders, whereas I think the Parramatta Eels I don't think they can really beat the Doggies. I don't see a world where it happens, right? As far as UFC goes, guys, we've got a great card this weekend. Sean O'Malley versus Mario Bautista, sorry. Mario Bautista's paying $2.40. Vicente Luque is paying $2.90. And Waldo Cortez Acosta is paying $2.15. Locks, Marab, $3.35. Kayla Harrison, $1.17. Joe Pfeiffer, $1.26. And Joshua Van, $1.18. Long shots for the UFC. Sugar Sean's, $3.30. I like that. Juliana Pena's, $5.20. Kelvin Gaslam's, $3.90. And Bruno Silva's, $5. So, yeah. UFC. If you want to do the deep dive, I say it every week that there's UFC on. If you want the deep dive into UFC, right? You want the deep dive? Go watch Fight IQ because I break down the card that these bets are coming from. So, yeah, but good odds. It's good to see the UFC's back on the board. We've had a bit of a UFC-less board for a while, so it's good they're back. All right, gives a bit more depth. There's a little bit more to talk about. But we're coming over here to try time. It's one of my favourite times. It's one of my favourite things to do on the board, guys. We're looking at try scorers because that is where I punt. I punt hard on the try scorers, okay? Dane Gagai, $4.40. Hasn't scored in a while. He's got to score. Manly just seems like the perfect team for him to score against, all right? Manly are so hit and miss. Just let Dane Gagai score, bro. Ruby G, $2.55. Nico Means. Nick Meaney. All right. $2.95. Zach Labour, $4. $4 from the Cowboys. All right. And if you're looking at that, you're looking at that stat where Melbourne Storm are conceding tries to, I think it was right centre or something. Zach Labour's your guy. I don't know why, but I've chucked Ray Stone on the board. Ray Stone, $7.25. Okay. This is probably one of the most far-fetched long shot try timers I've put on the board. But, he's paying at $7.25, and I just think he's due. I think, okay, just quickly, just for a second, we're going to talk. We're going to talk Ray Stone. All right? And why he's on the board. Okay, because I could sit here and I could make jokes about it. But at the end of the day, there's serious reasons why he's made the board, okay? For one, he's a dog. Okay, We all know that. It's apparent, right? If you've never watched Ray Stone play, do yourself a favour, brah. Okay? Every time Ray Stone steps on the field, black boot energy. And you may not have heard of it, okay? Because it's something only Ray Stone can do. It's It's Blackbird energy, bro. It's Blackbird energy. It is going out there. It is unremorsively just pumping cunts. Excuse the language. All right. It's brutalizing the opposition's team. All right. Just cracking people through the middle. All right. Ray Stone, Blackbird energy is what is going to get him the try. All right. That's why he's on the board. That's why he's $7.25. All right. And I just truly believe he's going to go out there and just unremorsively crack cunts through the middle. So Ray Stone, $7.25, all right? If you want to make some money this weekend, Ray Stone. What else are we looking at here? Moses Suli, $3.45. I've got a double. I've got two Warriors try scorers. I got Roger Tuivasa-Sheck and I got Zelezniak. Because Roger Tuivasa-Sheck's $2.10 and Zelezniak's $2.20. 10 cents difference between the two. I'd say chuck them both on the board, bruh. Chuck them both on the board. All right. Jesse Ramian, $3.60. Reece Walsh is on the board at $1.82. Not the best odds, but he's back, and I think he might score a try. Might be looking for an Origin jersey. Alan Fitzgibbon. If you haven't heard of him, he played one game for the Titans at the start of this season. Haven't seen him since. He's back. All right, he's back. And the one game he played, he scored a try, so I got him on the board. Timoko, $2.95. Jackie Boy, Jack White, $3.50. Gerald Skelton, $2.35. Blaze Talangi, $3.05. Zach Lomax, $2.20. And Josh Curran, $4.10. Sorry. How vulgar of me. How vulgar. But that's the board. That's all of the try times and the locks and the long shots and the cash cows. And no cheeky little pony, I'm sorry. That's all we got to go through on the board. And that's all we got to go through as far as punting goes for this week, guys. Cutting it a little short. There's no cheeky pony. I'm going to be brainstorming until next Wednesday. I'm going to think of a new segment to replace the cheeky little pony. I know it's sad. If I get a petition to bring back the cheeky little pony, I might do an Instagram poll to keep the cheeky little pony alive. And that gets some good feedback. If I get some comments saying, please, no, don't take away the cheeky little pony, then, we'll keep it. But for the time being, guys, it's an extra thing. It's an extra thing I'm trying to declutter. Maybe we can add something UFC related, cricket, whatever. Basketball, probably not basketball. Basketball multis, a little bit deep. I want to do single leg, bet on it, happy. So that's it, guys. Board done, multis done. I hope you have a really successful week. And on the punt, I hope you just jot down my multis and take some. Dude, sometimes I can't English. Just take some lessons, all right? Take some lessons from your good old friend over here at Finefield Insights, all right? You learn a thing or two. You make a little bit of money this weekend, guys, all right? Thanks for watching. Remember, as always, please like, subscribe, all right? We're at 35 subscribers. We're growing pretty rapidly. We're at 35 subscribers. We're looking to get to 50. I want to do a State of Origin live stream. I know I say it nearly every week, but please, guys. And, like, subscribe, socials, Instagram, TikTok, at Finefield Insights. I think I'm just going to quickly say, too, Fight IQ, if there's anyone here watching Punters Playbook who watches the Fight IQ videos, they now get posted. I'm now going to do them on a weekend, a Saturday or a Sunday, just because I've been trying to do a little bit more editing in these videos, so it takes a little bit longer, and I don't have much time on my hands to do it during the week. So Monday, round recap. Wednesday, Punters Playbook. Saturday, Sunday, you're probably going to see a Fight IQ. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great weekend on the punt. Make some money. Make Puppy proud. And I will see you in next week's episode of Punters Playbook. Thanks, guys. Deuces.